What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the genially judgmental Dr. Disaster, and you remember how the other day we discussed the PC requirements for Tales of the Shire and how outrageous they were? Apparently, you need an Intel Core i5-7600K in order to get 1080p and 30 frames per second. Those are pretty steep requirements, and yet somehow Tales of the Shire would look right at home, graphically speaking, on the Nintendo DS or the PS2.
Just take the L and move on.
You'd think that they would just take the L on this one and go home, wouldn't you? But no, the idiots in game journalism are thoroughly in the tank for this game, to the point that PC Gamer actually had the audacity to print this article here the other day, defending the game. The Tales of the Shire system requirements are so light, you'll be able to play it on an actual potato, whether boiled, mashed, stewed, or cooked in any other manner.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
The guy who made this article could not have had a straight face when he wrote it. He said here, Tales of the Shire has been a little divisive so far, and I'm happy to say that the pool of gamers who will be able to form their own opinions after playing the game looks to be quite large. That's because the minimum and recommended specifications have been released, and it looks like you'll be able to run this game on the starchiest of foods, cooked exactly to your liking.
That's bullshit. Stop lying.
Yeah, the game journalist class is going pretty hard into the tank for this game, it would appear. But that shit is not working because Tales of the Shire just is not gaining any traction. We are a week out from the release of this game, and on Steam, it still hasn't even broken the top 50 most wish-listed games. And it still only has about 30,000 followers. What's more, I've been keeping an eye on how the Tales of the Shire sales are so far in retail, and the numbers look absolutely putrid. I guess being consulted on by Sweet Baby Inc. isn't exactly a big draw for gamers.
Get that nasty shit out of my face!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. I've also started uploading some content onto Rumble too, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster over there. But let's talk about what's going on with Tales of the Shire and their pitiful sales numbers. The idea that this game won't sell well is not surprising at all to anybody that has been paying any amount of attention to gaming over the past couple of years. The organization Sweet Baby Inc. has been embattled during this time, to say the least, being a consultancy agency that goes out of its way to convince these gaming studios to go as woke as possible. This has put them at odds with a massive chunk of gamers, and due to their wretched philosophies on how to make games, focusing on immutable characteristics of their characters rather than the things which make them actually interesting, like a personality or gameplay or whatever. But due to that philosophy, they have been at least partially responsible for some of the biggest flops of the last year or so, including Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Flintlock The Siege of Dawn, and South of Midnight. Now, we found out just a few weeks ago that this is a game that was consulted on by Sweet Baby Inc., which has thrown fuel on the fire for a game that people were already criticizing for looking as bad as cat piss smells. There is simply no interest in this game. whenever they put out a trailer, it generally just gets ignored or it gets ratioed really bad. A month ago, they released The Basics of Shopping and Trading, a video which talked about that, and they managed only about 4,500 views, and they were damn near ratioed with 315 likes to 221 dislikes. The gameplay trailer got a little more interest about a month ago. They hit 15,000 views so far, but as you can see here, on this, they did get ratioed with 474 likes to 649 dislikes. So, it is with this in mind that I am not at all surprised that Tales of the Shire simply is not selling at the retail stores which I am in contact with. For those of you who might not know, I once owned my own store which sold video games, and during my time in that role, I built contacts with other stores. Specifically, I keep in touch with a few people who are sympathetic to my views on the gaming industry combined. These people have access to the sales data of almost 50 stores in heavily trafficked areas, and through them, I like to track the pre-order numbers for games because the numbers they sell give us an idea as to how well a game is going to perform. And in this case, Tales of the Shire is not doing well at all. In these almost 50 stores, they have currently sold only 8 copies of the game. And no, that's not 8 copies per store, that is 8 copies across all of these stores combined. For reference, when Dragon Age the Veilguard came out, and that game ended up being a major flop, but that game sold 86 pre-orders in these same stores. Or, here's another more eye-opening example. The game Avowed was another big flop. That game, which came from the big-name studio Obsidian, they failed to reach even 20,000 concurrent players on Steam, and VG Analytics estimates that Avowed has only sold about 300,000 copies on that platform. They didn't even have a proper physical copy release of Avowed, just a digital code sold in a fancy tin, and it was an Xbox exclusive, and still, when Avowed came out, there were 18 pre-orders for that game. It does not look like Tales of the Shire will manage to outsell Avowed, and that is pitiful. So, that should tell you exactly how badly Tales of the Shire is performing across the board. Meanwhile, the game's contemporary, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, is ready to release in a couple of days, and that has jumped up to the number 2 top-selling spot on the Steam platform. Now, when Tales of the Shire does drop, I would expect it to flirt with the top 20 sellers on the platform, if not even a bit higher, simply because, for whatever inexplicable reason, Tales of the Shire still is not available for pre-orders. I'm not sure why a studio would decide to forego pre-orders, but they did. So, there will be a spike in sales right when the game comes out that most other games do not have. After all, it is a Lord of the Rings game too, so there will be people who just can't help themselves and they will feel compelled to buy it. But that will be a mirage, and I'm certain that the max concurrent player count for the game won't be very high. In fact, I'd be surprised if it surpasses Avowed and hits 20,000. You never know, of course, but my guess is it will end up being a fair amount less played than Avowed. But I'm going to leave it there. What do you think the final player numbers will be for Tales of the Shire? Drop your guesses and your mockery of this game into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.